Maple leaves in the sky.
Come on.
Ducks will fly twice as high.
Yeah.
Have a look. This ain't a book.
Come on.
Buzzpucks Podcast.
Here we go again.
Buzzpucks Podcast.
Come on.
Welcome to Buzzpucks.
Hi.
I'm Bert.
I'm Clay.
That's the hype man Clay over there. We are back for week 15 of the NHL season. Like a bunch of weird stuff happened.
I was adding...
Specifically about the Canucks, but we'll get to that later.
If you've seen DMX mixed with the Reading Rainbow, that's what I was doing.
Oh, okay. I gotcha. Like, maybe you were doing the guy that was at my birthday 2 years in a row. That when they were singing Happy Birthday, they were like, yeah, Bert. And then the second year, he was like, I remember you from last year.
Don't think I didn't see you.
Man, I don't know what that guy's doing now, but I'd shout out to that guy. That guy was great. He was like, I remember you.
Yeah, don't think
Came over and shook my hand.
Yeah.
He was like, I remember you from last year.
I don't think I didn't see you.
Buffalo Wild Wings. Anyway. Before we get to all the oddities that happened this year, what are we drinking, Clay?
We are drinking Stony Creek Brewery's Crumb Apple Ale.
Crumb.
I think this is the second week in a row we did Stony Creek.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did I get Stony Creek last week?
2 weeks in a row.
2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago? Your 2 weeks.
Yes, my 2 weeks. My bad. It's an apple ale. It's fall in a can, as they say.
Ooh, let's find out. I just got really confused because when I opened it, I smelled apple, and I was like, "Oh, maybe this is like more cidery." It's not. It's not bad. Don't do that.
All 9,000 taste buds.
Oh, you lost 1,000, eh?
Yep.
Oh, you lost 1,000, eh?
It's not bad.
No, it's not bad.
Not bad at all.
I kind of wish it tasted a little bit more like apple. I get it a little bit.
I mean, fall ended a while ago at this point, so...
It's like, oh, these expired in 2016.
I'd still drink it, but whatever. Is there a Best Buy date on this second?
I mean, probably somewhere.
Somewhere.
Everything's somewhere.
It's apparently aggressively laid back beer.
You're aggressively laid back.
Thank you. I try. I work really hard.
All right.
To be this laid
While
back.
you're looking.
I'm not worried about it.
First of all, shout out to my mother who sent me a map of the mid-Atlantic states so I would know where Delaware was. I had forgotten that we had talked about that until she texted me and was like, I was listening last week and here's a map that you need.
Savage.
Oh, and then she also sent me a picture of Neelix and Kess, his girlfriend.
Oh, yeah.
Star Trek Voyager. I don't remember why we were talking about that. I'll let you guys know. I kind of forget what the hell we say a lot of the time on this podcast because Clay and I both have like a lot of other things going on.
I don't listen to these. So
I don't listen to them either.
If I spike the mic going, yeah, and come on, I'm really sorry.
But you guys love it. So here we are, and I'm going to start us off this week. We're going to start with the Central Division.
Ooh, with the Central.
Ooh. Starting, as always, in alphabetical order, because we're not like Clay on this side of the table. We like order.
I'm sorry, you don't have an attention deficit disorder.
I don't. My brain works fairly well. That's no slight to anybody that has ADD out there. I have plenty of other problems. Arizona Coyotes went 2-2 this week.
Man, their coach is getting the most out of this team.
It's just shocking. It's really weird because they'll play and you'll be like, oh, they don't look that bad. Like at the beginning of the year, I think I said it on here. Yeah. I was like, you know what? The Coyotes actually don't look too bad. And then they'll lose like 9 games in a row.
And you're like, oh, there
they are. You know, and then they go 2-2 again.
Because
so
this is his first year as
Arizona's
coach?
I think so. I can't remember who it is.
It begins with a T.
Lalonde? No, that's someone else.
Oh.
I don't know.
Yeah. Rick
Tocchet. Just kidding. They beat Detroit in a shootout 4-3.
Yep.
Where they were outshot 40-23.
I wrote that down.
Nick Bjugstad, a goal and an assist, while Lawson Krause had 3 assists. Then they got shut out 2 games in a row First one by Washington, 4-0.
Yep.
Second one by Dallas, also 4-0.
Dallas did that a lot, didn't they?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because I got a 4-0 shutout loss by
Yeah.
Dallas.
Oh, we'll get to Dallas. Don't you worry. Dallas had a big old defensive week this week.
And mine wasn't even Ottinger.
Or what? No, it wasn't. It was
Wow.
yeah. And then Arizona finished off the week by, I would say, upsetting the Vegas Golden Knights 4-1,
Yeah.
where they were outshot again 36-23 this time.
Kind of
Kinda.
an upset. It's a kind of an upset. One, Vemelka always has Vegas' number. That's part of it, and we'll talk about Vegas a little bit later.
Yeah. Weirdly, not much to say about the 4 goals that Arizona scored. Pretty spread out. Nobody had a multi-point game. Clayton Keller had 3 goals this week for their top player. Moving on to Chicago. Here comes Chicago, ladies and gentlemen.
Did he have a hat trick somewhere? Keller?
I don't think so. Maybe he did against Vegas. Maybe I just missed that when I was writing this earlier.
Barrel.
It's not worth. It's taking too much.
All right, continue.
You can look it up. Yeah. Chicago.
Chicago.
Ladies and gentlemen, here come the Blackhawks. They went 3-1 this week,
What?
and I think they're something like 7-2 in their last 9 games or something like that.
Good for them.
They beat Buffalo in overtime, 4-3.
They're taking themselves out of the Bedard hunt.
Well, they're still second to last in the league. Beat Buffalo 4-3 in overtime. Kurashev had a goal and 2 assists. Seth Jones 2 goals and an assist, including the overtime game winner. And I should have written down which Johnson it was that had 2 assists. I think it was Jack Johnson had 2 assists. They also have Tyler Johnson.
They have 2 Johnsons?
They do. They're not related. Apparently, none of the Johnsons are related. If you guys call back a while ago, stupid Eric and Jack Johnson.
It was Clayton Keller got a hat trick against Vegas.
He did. Okay, that's my bad. I even said that no one had a multi-point game. That was just a lie. I lied to you guys. I just didn't write it down. Chicago then beat Philly 4-1, where Tays had a goal and an assist. McCabe had 2 assists, and Mrazek was 37 of 38 on the night. They then beat their big old rivals in the St. Louis Blues 5-3. They were outshot in this game 32-18.
Wow.
And they scored 5 goals. I'll get to that more later. Dickinson had a goal and 2 assists. Lafferty a goal and an assist.
Vancouver could use Dickinson.
Right? Oh well.
Oh, well.
And then Chicago finished off the week by losing to LA 2-1. They only managed 19 shots in that game. Not great.
Yeah.
Seth Jones is their top player of the week with 2 goals, 3 assists.
Good for him.
Pretty good week for Chicago. Who had a better week was the Colorado Avalanche.
Looking like
who
Colorado.
Have finally gotten a little healthier and are looking like the Stanley Cup champions from last year. 4-0 this week. They beat Detroit 6-3, where they were 2 for 4 in the power play. McKinnon, 2 goals, 2 assists. Makar, 2 goals and an assist. Evan Rodriguez, JT Compher, and Devin Tays. They are related. I know that. 2 points each. Colorado then followed that up by beating Calgary 4-1. Rantanen 2 goals and an assist. McKinnon, Tays, Compher, Lankinen each had 2 points in that game. Colorado then beat Vancouver 4-1, where they were 2 for 4 in the power play again. McKinnon had 2 assists, and Rantanen had a goal and an assist.
Give me something impressive.
And then they finished off the week by beating Seattle in a shootout.
Better.
Where Francouz got the win and was 26 of 27. It was 2-1 was the final score. And McKinnon had the only shootout goal in that game. McKinnon is one of their top players of the week with 2 goals and 6 assists. And, well, really they have 2 other ones, but I put them together. Their goalies this week, Francouz and Georgiev, were 4-0 with a 146 goals against average and a 949 save percentage.
Good for them.
Good week for them. Not as good as the Dallas goalies, though.
Oh, no.
Well, they did win one more game than the Dallas goalies, going 3-1 this week to Dallas. They shut out Vegas 4-0.
Yes.
where DeAndrea had 2 assists. Ottinger made 27 saves in the shutout. They then lost to San Jose.
I mean, it happens.
It happens.
Everyone
It happens.
falls short. They don't perform.
Yeah. 5-3 was the final score in that game.
Sharks are scary.
They are scary. They are. They got big old teeth.
Not these sharks, but
No, not
normally,
these ones. Well, maybe Eric
Sometimes.
Carlson, but
Tebow Meyer.
most of them are scary.
Yeah.
Except that most species of sharks are under 3 feet long and are not scary. But the big ones are. Heiskanen had 2 assists in this game. They then shut out LA 4-0.
Yes, they did.
Robertson had a goal and an assist, and Sagan alert, had 2 goals and an assist.
Sagan alert.
And then they beat Arizona 4-0.
Yeah.
And if you guys just missed count there, that's 3 games that were 4-0 in favor of Dallas this week. Faksa had 2 goals, while Heiskanen had 2 assists, and Ottinger had 33 saves. And I apologize, Wedgwood had the shutout against LA. Yeah. And those are their top players.
Yeah.
Wedgwood with that, he only played 1 game, and he had that 1 shutout, while Ottinger played the other 3, going 2-1 with a 135 goals against, a 954 save percentage, and 2 shutouts. Pretty impressive week by
crazy.
Dallas there with, I almost said 3 shutouts, and then a loss to the Sharks. Minnesota, a much less impressive week.
I mean, like, if you're going to let up all your goals in a week against one team, it makes sense you lose it.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. And then you're like, oh, we didn't give up any other ones.
Right, you're fine.
Minnesota, 1-2 this week. They started off the week by beating Washington, where they were outshot 36-22 in this game. Dewar had 2 assists. Spurgeon, 2 goals. Gustafsson was 34 for 36.
You played very well.
Then they lost to Carolina 5-2. Not much else to say about that game. And then lost to Florida 5-3. Boldy, fresh off his new contract, and Joel Eriksson-Ek with a goal and an assist each in that game, while Kaprizov had 3 assists. I guess I'll mention it now. I have it in the news, but I can mention it now. Something interesting was happening in these last 2 games for Minnesota.
Oh.
Dumba was a healthy scratch for both of them.
Yes, he was.
Amid trade speculations.
He might be getting a healthy scratch. Do they play tonight?
I cannot imagine that they would healthy scratch him until the trade deadline. That would be ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because that's like a month and a half away.
Yeah.
So that would say to me, because I don't think he was playing that bad. Not bad enough to bench him. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know. I don't
know.
Pay attention to
I try to watch as many games as I can, but sometimes you miss stuff.
That's a lot of games.
The other night I was watching 4 games at once. I just had them all on the screen, and I was trying to look, but it's hard to pay that close of attention. But that would have to say to me, because I know that he's on the trade block because he's a free agent at the end of the year. Minnesota could probably get a good return for him. I have to imagine a trade is coming soon, or I don't understand what's going on.
Right.
And it seemed like the speculation of all the reporters and the talking heads was like, this is due to he's about to get traded.
Is the blue line fine without him?
I guess. I mean, they still have Spurgeon and I don't know, other guys
right
on defense. I don't know. It's just interesting that he was scratched.
Like three games.
Two games in a row, maybe tonight too. I'm not sure if they play tonight. It's interesting. Joel Eriksson-Ek is their top player this week with 2 goals, 2 assists.
Good for him.
They probably
it's a fun
won't.
Name.
Joel Eriksson-Ek.
Eriksson-Ek is
hyphenated last name.
Is it hyphenated or is it just a space?
No, I'm not sure. I thought it was hyphenated. No, it might. It just. No, I don't think it is, because I think it's a space and then EK.
Yeah.
It's just
Eriksson-Ek.
Yeah, I think there's some other minor league player it's not Eriksson-Ek, but it's something Ek. So that must be something in Sweden or Finland, wherever they're from.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's like some not honorific, well, maybe pronoun-ish?
I mean, whenever you see a van, like a van something.
Yeah, that's
Dutch.
Yeah, or from.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
It's a very common like Dutch last name.
Yeah,
To have
yeah.
Van before
Like Van Gogh,
Van der Vaart.
Van der Malen.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, that was my teacher.
Van
from,
Halen.
from Van Halen. There you go. Anyway, let's talk about Nashville. And I love the trade. I love the trade season, as you guys know. So anytime I'm like, oh, maybe somebody's about to get traded. I can't wait.
I think this one's going to be boring.
I think so too. Nobody has cap space.
No one
like,
has
at
cap
all.
space. Yeah.
Like at all. So I think it's gonna be not that interesting. But yeah, hey, you never know.
You know Horvat's going somewhere, and you're pretty sure Luke Schen's going somewhere.
I'm pretty sure Matt Dumba is apparently going somewhere too. So yeah. Other than that,
Eller Mantha probably seemed like they're going somewhere.
I mean, if I was Philly, I would blow up a lot of it.
But yeah,
But I don't know.
that they're where Chuck Fletcher wants them to be.
It's bad.
Shrug.
Yeah. Where are the Flyers at? I don't know.
Yeah.
Shrug. Anyway, Nashville 3-1 this week. I had a lot of teams play 4+ games
there
this
were
week.
so many games.
Yeah, there was a lot of games this week.
So many games this week.
You know who played 5?
Who?
The Flyers.
Wow.
The Flyers played 5 games this week. I feel really bad for them.
I don't know. I was looking at standings.
I think it's a schedule crunch because the All-Star game is coming up.
It is. I was looking at the standings, and I know we're not talking about the Central right now, but
We are talking about the Central right now.
Sorry, Metro.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, but I feel really bad for Washington because they're in 4th place with
Mm-hmm.
49 games played, and then like first through third, and 5th place all have 46 games played, so they're in deep shit.
Yeah, they're in trouble. They're in trouble because I believe the Penguins are in 5th and they're not that far behind Washington.
No, they're like 1 point behind
Yeah.
with like 3 games in hand.
Yeah, that's not, you know, about that.
No.
But, hey, you know, the Penguins haven't been so great the last, month. So
But we'll talk about them later.
Yeah. We're talking about Nashville right now. They started off the week by beating Calgary.
Yep.
Not Carolina.
Yep.
2-1.
It was a close-ish game.
Pretty close game.
Yeah.
2-1. You can't get much closer than that.
Well, I couldn't remember if the shot discrepancy was.
Oh, I don't know. I know that Calgary definitely got 39. No, I think
It wasn't.
I don't think it was
crazy.
a lot. Yeah. I didn't write it down, but I think Nashville had close to that amount as well.
It was a close game. That's my fault.
Saros 38 of 39 in that game. They then beat Columbus 2-1 as well, where Lankinen was 39 for 40 in that game. And I believe Nashville is the only team that has 2 Finnish goalies,
Wow.
Saros and Lankinen. I don't know why that just popped into my head. I guess because I just said both of their names. But I remember seeing that one time. I was like, that's pretty cool. They're both from Finland.
How neat is that? It's pretty neat.
That's pretty neat, right, guys?
That's pretty neat.
It's pretty neat. That's pretty. You gotta admit.
It's pretty neat.
That's Mom. You gotta admit. That's pretty neat. Nashville then lost to St. Louis 5-2. Not much else to say about that game. But then they beat LA 5-3. I'm guessing LA didn't have a super good week this week. No. Yossi had 3 assists in that game, while 5 other players for Nashville had 2 points on only 5 goals. That's like kind of impressive, honestly. Yossi is their top player this week with a goal and 4 assists. Moving on to St. Louis. I don't know why you flipped yours.
I wanted to have fun.
I learned it from you, Dad. St. Louis 2-1 this week. They started off the week by beating Ottawa 2-1, where Binnington was 32 for 33. They then beat Nashville, as I just mentioned, 5-2. Pitlick 2 assists. Thomas and Saad each had a goal and an assist, and then they lost to Chicago 5-3, where they only gave up 18 shots. But boy, oh boy, I watched the highlights of these goals. Boy, those defensemen just really were not trying
Nowhere
at the
in
beginning
sight.
of the game.
Nowhere in
even
sight.
close to trying to stop the Blackhawks. I believe the Blackhawks went up 3-0 fairly quickly in this game. And on all of those goals, on the first 3 goals, because I was like, what is happening? The defensemen were just real lazily, not even trying. And then the last 2 goals were just really bad goaltending.
Right.
So, it was just a bad game all around for St. Louis.
I have a goalie somewhere, I can't remember off the top of my head, who was like 1 for 4 to start the game. Yeah. And he didn't last very long.
Nope.
So
I think Bennington was something like that in this game. Yeah, I think he was maybe 4 for 7.
Bennington's really fun.
Yeah, he could go from the Ottawa game where he was 32 for 33 to letting in 3 goals, I think, on 7 shots.
And then act like a complete child.
And then, punch somebody.
Exactly.
Yeah, or threaten somebody on the Penguins bench he did that one game.
We need some villains.
Oh, it was Zucker. That's what it was.
We need some villains.
He is certainly one.
Yep.
He is certainly a villain. Who are the other big villains right now? Vancouver?
Jim Rutherford.
Jim Rutherford specifically?
Yeah, specifically.
Yeah. I just want to keep alluding to that. We will certainly talk about that
You were right.
later. Yeah.
You were very skeptical of Jim Rutherford when he got hired as hockey president.
Well, because we'll talk. We'll get to it later.
Because
we both have quite a bit to say about Vancouver,
so much.
And we're saving it for last.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. But you're going to have to hear about Winnipeg now, who went 2-2 this week. They lost to Montreal 4-1, lost to Toronto 4-1. Where they outshot Toronto 38-27.
Yes, they did.
But hey, they turned it around, beating Ottawa 5-1, playing all the Eastern Canadian teams.
Yeah, I think they went on a trip.
I think so. Wheeler and Ehlers each had a goal and 2 assists in that game, while Scheifele had 2 goals and an assist against Ottawa.
Mm-hmm.
And then they beat Philly 5-3, where they were 2 for 4 on the PK, and Brendan Dillon had 2 assists.
Good for him.
And Scheifele is their top player with 3 goals and 2 assists on the week.
Gotcha.
It's really interesting that Paul Maurice left, and suddenly you don't really hear much turmoil out of Winnipeg.
You don't.
It's interesting.
You really don't.
I mean, they took the C away from Wheeler, and I remember we were talking. We were like, "This might, they might blow this team up." But Winnipeg's playing pretty good.
Winnipeg's not top of the division because
they're right behind Dallas.
Dallas exists,
but they're in second, I think, and Wheeler and Scheifele, the 2 guys that were said to be the problem, are playing pretty well. And it doesn't really seem like there's much. I haven't heard anything, like any issues out of Winnipeg recently.
Pierre-Luc Dubois is playing excellent. He seems to have turned that corner that everyone's been waiting to do.
Maybe he doesn't want to leave Winnipeg.
Maybe he doesn't. But also, like you're saying, Maurice could have been some sort of an issue.
But Maurice went to Florida. And not that there's any locker room issues in Florida, as far as I'm aware, but they're not playing well.
No, they are not.
Anyway, that was it for the Central.
They did get worse as a team during the offseason.
That's true. Yeah, I guess that is.
Worse as a team.
But
mainly on the blue line. But
yeah, losing Uyghurs. Seemingly.
Duclair has been out.
Yeah. Ekblad's been out again. Right. In and out, right?
Ekblad's been in and out.
Anyway, that's it for the Central. I don't have that much news, so I saved Dumbo was one of them. So, actually, I think I only have one other thing. Now that I think about it.
Say it now, because I want to look something up.
Okay. All right. This is for the Metropolitan Division, but this is my only other piece of news. Max Pacioretty tore his Achilles again. It's the same one.
He was probably rushed back.
Yeah.
He probably rushed himself back.
The second time that he has torn his right Achilles, and if you watch the video, it's not like anything happens. Nobody is touching him. He may have caught his skate in a rut or something, but he is behind the net with the puck. He passes the puck. He goes to skate, and then he pulls up on his right leg and is clearly grabbing at his Achilles.
Yeah.
And it's just oh no. So that's definitely done for the year. That's definitely the season. That's questionable for your career.
I don't
know, man. Achilles is way more important than I think a lot of people think it is.
Well, I'm not arguing that. What I'm arguing is there's a very good chance that he came back sooner than he was.
Let's hope it's not career threatening.
Ready?
Yeah.
Now he will, he damaged his Achilles before the season started.
Yeah, in August. This is the second time it's been torn since August. Or injured, at the very least. I don't think they've said what... It was his Achilles again, but I don't think they said what happened.
So, typically, Achilles injury, in other sports, is a 6 months injury.
Yeah.
5 months.
He came back after 5. He was maybe a month early.
Yeah. So he probably felt good enough. So now he'll be good for next season.
One would hope.
Like
With
that's
Carolina, with someone else, because he's gonna
That's
be
fair.
a free agent at the end of the year.
That's
So
true.
I
It might be with someone
would
else.
think that he's not gonna get a huge contract from anybody,
No.
because they're gonna be like, is that Achilles just gonna like break again? You know, like, is that okay?
Hey, Kobe played a couple seasons after he tore his Achilles.
Because that's true. And
It's a different sport, and Kobe's a different.
Yeah.
It was a different dude, but
and same sport. Eric Carlson had his Achilles cut by accident on the ice by a skate. It was definitely by accident.
It was
Ottawa. And he's back. He is. I mean, he came back, I believe, the next season, and
he doesn't have an ankle, but that's different reasons.
Well, yeah. I'm sure it's part of it, but
Maybe.
So hopefully Pacioretty can be back next year. I don't know who he'll be playing for. Maybe Carolina. I don't know, but I'm sure Carolina fans were really happy to watch him play for 5 games. I think something like that.
I got something for you.
Stop slamming the table.
Even less.
You monster. I also want to point out, not that anybody other than me can see this, but it's really funny to me that you were gesturing about an Achilles injury while you have a wrist brace on.
Shut up. It's fine.
You're just like gesturing at me with your your hand all braced up. What'd you do?
It's chronic.
Oh, okay.
It's stupid. It's fine.
Gotcha. At least it's your left. You're right-handed, aren't you?
Yeah.
So it's your left. Hey, that's mine. Mine's acting up too. Yeah.
High five. All right, there we go. We're going to talk about Boston first.
We're old.
And the Atlantic. And Boston, it's not going to shut up.
Hold on.
Because...
Speaking of being old, really quick, somebody at our work was like turned 24, and they're like, I'm so old now. And someone else was like, you shut your stupid mouth. You don't even know. And it wasn't me. It was someone else. And she listens to the podcast. Shout out Marissa. It was Marissa. Our number one fan, Marissa. She was like, "Oh yeah." She said, "Oh, I'm 24 now. I'm getting so old." And Marissa was like, "Shut up. You shut up.
You haven't actively started dying yet."
That's when you hit 25.
It is.
I told our newest coworker that because she's 24. I was like, "Hey, next year your body's gonna actively start dying." She's like, "That's cool." We're fun to work with. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right, Boston 4-0 this week. They will not stop.
Just skip Boston.
No, I can't because they're 37-5-4. They have 78 points.
Here's the thing. Here's my one ray of sunshine. If they win the Stanley Cup, Patrice Bergeron's going to retire, right? He has to.
You think that?
He has to.
He's coming back, baby.
He's like goddamn Tom Brady. Tom Brady's going to play for the Bruins next year. And he's going to be like really good for some reason.
Look, speaking of like coaches that left, Cassidy.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, him and Montgomery were named all-star coaches.
Yeah, we mentioned that last week. It's really funny.
But Cassidy left, and Krejci decided to come back to the NHL.
And DeBrusk rescinded his trade request.
Interesting. And DeBrusk was playing great up until he broke his leg.
He still scored a goal on a broken leg.
Yeah.
Stupid. Dumb.
So
leave the game. You broke your leg.
Hockey player. Athletes are stupid.
Yeah.
Athletes are stupid.
Yeah, that's true. There's a few exceptions.
Not many.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Connor McDavid wears dirty socks that have holes in them, and we're not even going to discuss Sidney Crosby. So
it was probably white. It probably used to be white.
Stop. Talk about Boston.
They started their week. They had 4 games. Started the week shutting out Philly.
Yeah.
Swayman.
That's not that impressive.
It was Swayman, 29 for 29. Krejci had 3 assists in that game.
Special guest star Ruthie.
Then they went to New York and they beat both the Islanders and the Rangers in that order, 4-1 Allmark in net, and then 3-1 with Swayman in net. 25 for 26 and then 31 for 32. And then they finished by playing San Jose, and they shut them out 4-0.
I hope they lose in the first round of the playoffs.
They won't.
I know, but I just hope they do.
4-0. Allmark. Now, this was actually not a full shutout. Because while Allmark went 17 for 17, he had an equipment malfunction and was out for 2 minutes and 45 seconds.
And they showed his boob.
Where Swayman was 1 for 1. So that was a shared shutout between the two of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think Allmark's mad.
No.
No, they're like buddies. They
Dudes,
hug after every game.
They hug after every win.
I saw a video, I think it was from this week, where I don't remember who it was, but
Foligno.
Was it Foligno jumped
Yes.
in and stole the hug from Swayman?
Well, here's the thing. Foligno actually is always the last. Everyone hugs the goalie at the last, after every win. And Foligno always is the last one to do it before the goalies. Mm-hmm. So it was Omar trying to steal his hug early, and Foligno was like,
well, it
no.
was just a funny video because I think it was Allmark.
It was
like
Allmark.
turned around and you could see he was like, "All right, I get it, all right," and he like turned away and then turned back and Swayman was like, "Come on,"
yeah.
and then they hugged. It was a cute video, but I hate Boston.
I hate Boston so much, but all of their players, I love them, and it makes me so mad.
Go play somewhere else.
So mad.
Go play somewhere else. I hate the Bruins.
Any New England Boston sports team I despise with a passion.
You know what? Let's go ahead and throw New York teams in there too.
Agreed. They all
And you know what? Screw you, Delaware. You confusing ass state.
don't even have a team.
You don't even have a don't even have a team ass state.
Professional.
Where are you at? Where are you? You don't even know. I don't. And I looked at a map earlier.
Now, you would think that I would put their goalies as their top players because they've only let in 2 goals, 1 goal
Betwixt them.
betwixt them, 1 goal each. But they had 4 players who had 6 points this week.
Oh my god. Shut up,
It
Boston.
was like Bergeron, Krejci, Pasternak, and McAvoy.
No, not even Marchand.
No.
Suck it, Marchand.
Yeah, so like...
I wonder if there's anybody that listens that is a Bruins fan. And they're like, I love how much they hate my team.
I hate it.
And they're just mad because they're jealous, which is true.
Yeah.
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 Um,
I would hate...
shout out to you if you're a Boston fan.
I
listening
hate
to us.
Boston, even if they were bad. But right now, I'm jealous. Their penalty kill was also perfect, 17 for 17.
Shut up.
I know.
Can you just talk about Buffalo?
All right, sure.
just move on.
Sure.
We get it, Boston. You're good.
2-1-1.
We go win the President's Trophy, and then lose to the Penguins in the first round.
Boston is on pace for 135 points.
That has to be at least close to a record, I think. I don't know what the record is.
No
but
other team could reach the pace that Boston is on. A team could go on a 35-game win streak and not make the pace that Boston is on.
somebody should try, though.
I think someone should try.
And that team I think should try is the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Yeah, I bet you do.
Because it would make me happy.
Boston was 2-1-1 this week. They started the week by losing to Florida.
Buffalo.
Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah.
Buffalo.
Sorry, we were just talking about Boston.
Buffalo lost to Florida to start the week. It's one of those things just like, are we going to have a fully bad January? What's going You can't do
You're
this.
gonna have a bad time.
You can't do this one good
If you
month.
pizza when you're supposed to French fry, you're gonna have a bad time.
You can't do this one good month, one bad month, and
No.
expect to make the playoffs.
No.
It's not going to work. Then they lost to Chicago in overtime, like Bert said.
Yep.
And again, man, you're not...
Come on, Chicago's terrible.
Exactly.
I mean, they're on a heater right now, but they're still bad.
And then they played the Islanders. Beat them in overtime.
Yay.
Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen
The best name.
was the top player in that game, going 24 for 26. They did outshoot the Islanders 45-26.
Wow.
Yeah, they wanted it.
Yeah.
And then they finished the week by beating Anaheim 6-3.
Nice. As they should.
And they brought the Goatheads, the red and black Goatheads back.
Got 6 goals again with the Goatheads. The streak was broken that
only
one time.
one game.
Yeah.
It's like when Michael Jordan missed the playoffs after winning like 3 in a row, and then
And
what
then
did
they came
get
back
it?
and won 3 in a
like,
row
I'm
again.
back, baby.
It's like, I'm back.
Um,
I'm back.
Olofsson had 2 goals in that Anaheim victory. And Alex Tuck had 2 goals, 2 assists over the week. He's their top player. They were perfect. They were 7 for 6 adjusted on the penalty kill. And the power play wasn't whatever. All right, moving on to Detroit. 1, 2, and 1 this week. They are not
Detroit.
I mean, Detroit's doing what they were doing last year. It started red hot and then fell off a cliff, unfortunately. Buffalo, going back real fast, sorry. Buffalo is 23, 19, and 3. They have 49 points. They are 5th in the Atlantic. Detroit is 19, 18, and 8. They have 46 points currently. They are 6th in the Atlantic.
Righteous?
Righteous. They started their week by... They went on a central / mostly central road trip, losing to Colorado at Colorado, losing to Arizona in a shootout, and then
Slightly shameful.
Slightly.
Detroit's not that much better than Arizona, though.
I think they're level. And then they beat Vegas at Vegas 3-2.
Oh, interesting.
And they finished the week by losing to Philadelphia 1-2.
Yeah.
Yeah. That Philadelphia loss was a very close game, but you still lost to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
In the Arizona game, Bert mentioned it, but they outshot them 40-23. And in the Vegas win, they got outshot 25-35.
Yikes.
Yeah. They don't get top player.
Yeah. He only won 1 game.
Only won 1 game. Yeah, they didn't have a...
Not a good showing by Detroit.
And the points there were kind of pretty spread out.
It's always funny to me that there, and this happens in every sport, where there are teams that everybody is like, oh, they're going to take a step forward this year. And I think people were saying that about Detroit. And they're pretty much the same as last year.
They are.
Like. And people always say that about teams like the Browns, or in baseball, I don't know.
Who knows?
Definitely not the Pirates.
Mariners?
Well, the Mariners did make the playoffs this year, so...
Maybe the Angels?
The Angels, that's one, yeah.
With the amount that they spend,
you think they should be better.
Forward.
Yeah. And they just don't. And it's just like, Detroit has that streak of 25 straight years making the playoffs, which was broken several years ago. It's not still going on, but... so you can't, fault them for that, but, every year they're like, okay, this is the year they take a step forward. And then maybe make the playoffs again. But, the East is so stacked as well.
Exactly.
It's so hard for anybody to wedge in there and steal a playoff spot.
We're gonna have to look back on our predictions, but I don't think I had Detroit making the step.
I don't think. No.
I know I didn't pick Ottawa. I might have picked Buffalo, but
maybe Buffalo's still sort of within range of a playoff spot, of a wild card at least.
But I could also be full of crap and not remember what I said.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not looking at it right now. So
Nope.
We'll look at it maybe when the playoffs are set.
Yep. All right, we're going to talk about Florida right now, because Florida these past 2 weeks has been on a tear.
Hey, there they go.
They are 3-0-1.
There's the President's Trophy team.
Exactly. I think they are 7-2-1 their last 10 games.
Damn. Same as Chicago.
They're going on exactly. No, you said that, and it's just that's the same as Florida.
Yeah, it's something or maybe they're 6-2.
23, 20, and 5. That neck crack popped up on the mic.
Did it?
Yeah, it did.
Sorry.
51 points. They are now 4th in the Atlantic.
Hey, all right. They're climbing.
They are climbing. Again, you beat Buffalo at Buffalo. Bobrovsky had got the win in net there. Kachuk had 3 assists in that game.
You said his name right.
I don't remember how to say it.
It's
right.
Kachuk. You don't say the T.
I'm guessing at this point.
I don't know how to say it, and at this point, I'm too afraid to ask.
At this point, I've been fucking around too much. I don't know what's real or not anymore.
Well, you're gonna find out because you just said it right.
Woo! All right. Then they lost to Toronto in overtime. No real shame in that.
No, not at all.
They were 5 for 7 on the penalty kill, adjusted 6 for 7, but still, 5 for 7. Um, Barkov had a goal and assist. Then they beat Montreal in Montreal.
Good.
Alex Lyon in net
Whoa.
because Spencer Knight is still coming back from his injury. He is in the AHL on a conditioning stint. So they were going to have to rely on Lyon to take 1 or 2 games. But also Bobrovsky got hurt after the
no good. Well,
after the Toronto game. Or before the Montreal game. He left with a lower body injury.
he pooped his pants.
So he's out minimal a week. But that means Lyon's
Sometimes that turns into an LTIR, though.
right.
You know? They're like, he's only out for a couple of games. JK, he's out for the rest of the year.
They were 5 for 5 on the penalty kill in that game against Montreal, and they were 4 for 8 on the power play.
Wow.
Yeah. It was
Wow.
a lot of penalties, and a
4 for
lot
8.
not defending them by Montreal. Kachuk again had 2 goals in that game. Alex Lyon, 23 for 25 with 9.2 save percentage. Finished the week, like Bert mentioned, beating Minnesota. Alex Lyon in net again. So they were only
Goalie
expecting
controversy. Alex Lyon taking over.
They were only expecting to use Allen like 3 times at most, and now he's going to have to step up, and it looks
Now
like
they're
he's
gonna
doing that.
now they're gonna have to waive Bobrovsky.
Way too much money to just waive.
Just put in the minors.
Someone's snapping him up.
No, they're not. Not for $10 million. They're not.
But he's been playing at a 9-3.
Not for $10 million. They're not. No, they aren't.
Yeah, that's true. 6 for 16 on the power play.
Actually, it'd be very safe to put him. He probably has a no move clause. Actually, now that I think about it.
And then 13 for 17 on the penalty kill. Sam. I know I mentioned Kachuk a lot. Sam Reinhart's their top player with 2 goals and 5 assists.
Take that.
Going on to Montreal, we just talked about their loss, but they only had 1 loss. It's 2-1 this week.
Look at them.
Beating Winnipeg, like you said.
Yes, they did.
Losing to Florida, and then beating Toronto in overtime.
The Maple Leafs. The end is coming.
Montembeault in the Toronto overtime win is their top play or is their best player in that specific game, going 36 for 38. That's 9-4-7. Rem Pitlick is their top player because
I wish they had all the Pitlicks.
Not anymore.
Because one of them's on St. Louis now.
Well, I think one's on Calgary.
It's Rem Pitlick. I think Ryan Pitlick, and then
Is there a Liam?
maybe. I don't even know if they're related. I don't. I
don't
don't know.
I don't either.
They're just guys that are named Rem
Or is it
Pitlick.
Sam?
No. I think it's Rem Ryan, and I want to say it's something else that begins with an R.
I think there's one.
Romeo.
Perfect.
Romeo Pitlick.
Where art thou?
Romeo Pitlick.
Where art thou, Romeo?
That's there is a 4th Stahl brother, but he never made the NHL.
Right.
It was Jared Stahl, I think it was.
Yeah.
There's Mark Jordan and Eric, all
Made
fairly good NHL players. Long careers. And then Jared Stahl, who I think played a couple of games.
It's like Wayne Gretzky's brother.
Yeah, Gretzky's brother, Brett, I think. I think it's Brett. They have
Brad.
I think it's Brett. It begins with a B. They have the most points by a brother duo. Brett has 2, and Wayne has 3,000 or whatever it is.
Rem had 2 goals and 2 assists, including that overtime game winner against Toronto. Dadonov actually had 2 goals against Winnipeg. I forgot to mention beforehand. 7 for 12 on the penalty kill, but again, when you give up 4 in one game, it's not going to be very good.
Otherwise, it's okay.
Yeah. They are 20, 24, and 3. They have 43 points. They're last in the Atlantic.
Yeah. Not last in the East, though, I don't think. I don't think. I think it's Columbus.
Well,
Columbus.
The other team in the Atlantic that has 43 points is Ottawa.
Hey, look at them. Doing so good this year.
But because of games in hand, they're in 7th.
Hey.
2023 and 7. Nope, that's a 3. Makes more sense. Yeah, 2023 and 3.
2023? That's this year.
That's this year.
That's right now.
They have 43 points. Because they also went 1 and 3 this week.
Nice.
Losing to St. Louis, beating Pittsburgh in overtime,
Dumb.
where they outshot them 40-19.
Stupid.
Brady Tkachuk had a goal and 3 assists in that
overtime game winner.
and the overtime game winner.
Dumb. Stupid. Next game's better though,
Next game is better
because they lost
for
to Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
Much better game.
1-4 loss. Well, Pittsburgh was playing at home in that one.
And also Tristan Jarry and Jeff Petrie were back.
Yes.
For that game.
And Chris Letang is also back.
He has not played yet, but he's practicing. Which is really weird because there was a bunch of people online. Well, never mind. We're not talking about Pittsburgh.
And then losing to Winnipeg, like you said.
Yeah.
17
17.
power plays this week.
Can I guess how many they scored on?
Sure.
3.
4.
Oh, I was close.
I mean, they were 4 for 9 against Pittsburgh in that win.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
And that was their only power plays that they scored on.
That was a dumb game.
It was a game.
There was a lot
nine
of
power plays.
Yeah.
For
I don't
Ottawa,
remember.
and then 5 for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it was a lot of power plays. It really, I think I saw a statistic that was that entire game, 25 minutes of it was 5-on-5 or something like that.
Crazy. And they were
ridiculous.
12 for 17 on the penalty kill. So 17 power plays, 17 penalty kills. Not good either.
Nope.
No. But Brady Tkachuk, 2 goals and 4 assists.
I could see it with that stupid smile.
Yeah.
Said one brother's name correctly and the other one wrong. They are brothers.
Yes, they are. And I said the one that I hate more right.
That's true.
Because
I'm yelling at myself that they're brothers because I thought Eric and Jack Johnson were brothers.
While he may be a better player, he's way more annoying.
Wouldn't it be funny if they weren't brothers and that both of their names were just Tkachuk, which is not a normal name?
I mean, and they still had the same dad.
they were half brothers,
right? Because
one of them was Canadian, the other one was American.
Hall of Famer Keith. Is he a Hall of Famer?
I don't know if he's in there yet, but he's up for it.
Yeah. Keith Tkachuk.
He was a very good player.
Good player, kind of a goon.
Mostly for the Blues.
Yeah. He threw.
He was more than a goon though.
More
he scored
than
a lot.
Yes, but he's a dude who.
He was a big dude. He's like Matt.
Yeah.
He's like Matthew Tkachuk.
No, he's like Brady because Brady throws punches.
It's like if they split him in half as his 2 sons, because Matthew Tkachuk is bigger, I think, than Brady Tkachuk, and he throws his body a lot more. They both can score a lot. No,
switch that. Brady throws the body more.
No.
Matt scores a lot more.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, one of them's a captain for their team, and it's Brady Tkachuk.
It is. That is very true. One of the things that came out of Ottawa was their coach, DJ Stewart.
Is it DJ Stewart?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. They have another coach named DJ recently. Wasn't it DJ Smith?
I might have his name wrong, but I thought it was Stewart.
Whatever. It doesn't that guy.
He's a guy who I think is over his head.
Probably. Seems like it.
To me, he's
with
not,
how this season's going.
Problem is, he's a player's coach. All of the players love him.
Of course.
So he'd be perfect as an assistant coach.
Yeah.
But he very much seems a little over his head. But he was talking about how there's no grind. You don't win games with skill, but you win it with grind. So
a little bit column A, a little bit column B.
I mean, look at Boston. Boston's skill players are willing to grind.
Yeah.
So you have to have both.
I guess that's true.
You have to have
both.
both.
I guess that's true.
But to me, it kind of means that we're going to see Austin Watson on the top line.
Sick. They're going to get that first overall pick, baby.
They might.
They should trade with the Islanders and get Matt Martin and Cal Clutterbuck and put them on their top line with Brady Tkachuk.
Oh man, those are some grinders right there.
That get a weird amount of minutes for the Islanders.
I mean, isn't Clutterbuck on the LTIR?
Maybe.
Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay had a weird week.
Yeah.
I mean, so they did a Pacific road trip.
Okay.
They started with Seattle, beat them 4-1. Went to Vancouver, beat them 5-2. Stamkos had a hat trick. He scored his 500th career goal.
Hell yeah, he did.
They got outshot by Vancouver 39-25.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right. And it's real funny. If Vancouver had a nickel for every time that a player scored a hat trick, while also like in the same time that they scored their 500th goal, they'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's pretty weird that it's happened twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is that from?
Phineas and Ferb.
That's right. It's not a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
Weird that it happened twice. The other time was Wayne Gretzky.
Of course it was.
Right. And then they went to Edmonton. They lost 3-5.
Okay.
And then they lost to Calgary 3-6. So like that last Calgary game, it's a Pacific.
Maybe they were tired.
It's a Pacific road trip. You're
It's a
playing
long road trip.
4 games.
Yeah, going from the Pacific Northwest with Seattle and Vancouver over to Alberta. That's pretty far. I mean, I'm sure they flew.
Right.
But
still, like, you start the week with
how crappy would it be if they were like, we're taking a bus.
Ugh.
It's an 18-hour ride.
Ugh. But like you're going backwards in time. Like the time
there's that too. Yeah, that's a lot of time zone switching because they're going back in time 3 hours to back forward. I think an hour or two. Probably just an hour or two mountain
just an hour.
time.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's
or whatever.
Interesting. It was funny in the Calgary game, because in the Edmonton and Calgary game, Kucherov got a little pissy, because the game wasn't going their way.
He's like, I'm cranky.
Right.
These time zone shifts make me cranky.
I know.
I'm Kucherov.
I know something happened in the Edmonton game, but I couldn't fully find it.
He lost his blankie, and so he got mad.
But in the Calgary game, this happened in the first period. At the beginning of the first period, Mackenzie Weegar does get called for elbowing Kucherov.
Okay, that's fair to be mad about.
It's fair to be mad about. But at the end of the first period, Kucherov gets called for tripping Mangiapane.
Bread eater.
Which is fair. It was a trip. He gets over. He skates to Mackenzie Weegar, cross-checks him.
That's another penalty for that?
He doesn't actually get another penalty.
Oh, come on. He should have.
But they're jawing at each other, and then Bogosian comes out of freaking nowhere and, like, grabs Weegar, does a little shaking, drops gloves, tries to fight, and bait him into a
fighting
a matching penalty.
Yeah.
Weegar doesn't drop the gloves. He
so
defends
funny.
himself.
That's so funny.
Defends himself without throwing a punch. So Tampa Bay gets a 2-minute 3-on-5.
Yep. Yeah.
Calgary doesn't do anything with it, but it was like,
it's always funny to me when guys like just try to start a fight and they drop their gloves and the other guy just looks at him and skates away.
In the other game,
it's really funny.
In the Edmonton game, it was Maroon who tried to do it, which tracks.
Yeah. That does track.
Also,
wait.
Vasilevsky.
Was it Pat Maroon that the guy from Boston called fat?
Yes.
Or was that someone else?
Yes, it was.
Just popped up in my head.
I mean, Fat Pat's been going around for a while.
Fat Pat.
Yeah, it's been going around for a while. But like,
so mean.
Stupid fans say that, not.
He's not a dude on national television.
Yeah.
Who was like sounded like he was drunk. Like, that guy, look how fat he is. Look at him.
Right. Not Jack Edwards. Also, a Vasilevsky jersey ended up on the ice during the Calgary game.
Insane.
Which
it's an insane thing to do.
It's insane for 2 reasons. Because, one, if you're throwing a player's jersey, if you're a Tampa Bay fan and you're throwing a player's jersey on
You're
the ice,
throwing Vasilevsky's on the ice?
Vasilevsky, who, was your goalie that led you to 5 conference finals 5 conference finals
He
in the
led you to
last
3 straight Stanley Cup finals.
That's what it is. 4
Yeah.
conference finals in the last 5 years.
Yeah. You guys have made the Stanley Cup final 3 straight years, and you won 2 of them.
And again, 2019 aside, 2018 they weren't to the conference final.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
2.
2016 as well, actually.
Right.
Right? Where they lost to the Penguins, yeah.
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 2. You're in Calgary.
Yeah. Also, I'm just going to go ahead and tack on a third one. Those jerseys are expensive as fuck. I would never throw.
Expensive as hell.
They're like $200.
$250.
Unless they're like a knockoff one, then
But still.
they're still probably like $50. I wouldn't throw that on the ice. If I'm at a game and a hat trick happens and I have a hat on, I'm like, oh, but I like my hat.
Yeah, they lost 3-6. They were outshot 41-24.
No, that's Vasilevsky's fault. Dog.
Yeah.
That's Vassy's fault.
Stamkos is their top player because 5 goals and an assist.
And 500 goals overall.
500 goals overall. 502.
Wow. Wow.
He only needed 1 goal
Well, he
to
got
start
3.
the week. Yeah, and then he got 3. And then we're going to finish the week of games with Toronto. They were 2-0-1. They are, Toronto is 29-15-1, 59 points, 3rd overall. Toronto is 28-11.
Tampa Bay. You said Toronto twice.
Dang it. Tampa Bay is 3rd overall with 59 points, 29-15-1. Toronto, 28-11-8, 64 points, solidly in 2nd.
Once again, quietly having a pretty good year.
But
Quietly being overshadowed by Boston.
overshadowed by Boston, Vancouver is just taking all the news.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they are.
So, we've talked about all these games so far. That 5-4 overtime win against Florida. Matt Murray was 4 for 8 to start the game, and then Samsonov came in to finish it 11 for 11.
Yikes.
Nylander had 2 goals and an assist. The Winnipeg game 4-1. Samsonov with a 9-7-4, 37 for 38. Matthews had 2 goals in that game, and then Montreal, the overtime loss. Samsonov was in net again. They were 9 for 11 on the penalty kill. Adjusted, it was 10 for 11, so it's fine. Willie Nylander is 2 goals and 3 assists, and so he's their top player for the week.
Nice.
All right, we have some news.
Keep chugging, Toronto.
A lot of news.
Yeah, it's all of the news this week is on your side.
It really
for the
is.
most part. Yeah.
Is it Brandon Nosek?
Oh no, Stefan.
Thank you, Stefan Nosek. He is out minimal 4 weeks, broken foot.
Yeah.
So after 4 weeks, he's going to get reevaluated. So maybe longer. It's a
And there's the first big blow to the Bruins.
You wish. It's a non-displaced bone injury.
Come on, lose 10 games in a row, you'll still be in first.
And that's it. Detroit for Buffalo doesn't have any news. For Detroit, Bertuzzi is out with a lower body. He's not going to play in Tuesday's
been
game.
Injured most of the year, hasn't he?
He's been here and there. He might have missed only 1 game this week, but he's going to miss
sometime going forward.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Tuesday's game. For Florida, we got a lot. Stahl is on the IR with an upper body injury.
Oh, was that from the hit that he took from Matheson?
Yes.
Yeah.
Matheson got fined $5,000 for that because it led to an injury.
Yeah.
That's the rule.
No. I'm not saying that he shouldn't have been fined for that. It's just such a weird choice of a hit because he chose to hit him instead of play the puck.
It was for the stupid reverse.
Yeah.
It was the reverse hit, quote unquote.
I don't even think it was really a reverse
It was
hit. Matheson just didn't. That's what I was going to say. I felt like that should have just been called for interference because
should have been.
Matheson didn't even touch the puck. He just hit Stahl.
He pretended like he was going.
Stahl did not have the puck.
Well, Matheson was going to reach the puck first.
And then he was just like, never mind. And then he just
threw a
crushed.
reverse hit.
Yeah. I think it should have at least been a penalty. I don't know that he should have been suspended for it necessarily, but
It should have been a penalty.
definitely should have been a penalty. The fine, I think I'm fine with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Knight is, I mentioned this before, he's in the AHL doing a conditioning stint. Bobrovsky is out right now for at least a week. Talked about that before with the lower body. And also Sam Bennett and Aaron Ekblad left the game on the 19th, which was against Montreal as well. So Stahl, Bennett, and Ekblad
Damn those goons on Montreal.
all did not return. Ekblad and Bennett are expected to play sometime this week, but
So not serious injuries.
Not seriously.
Okay, well that's good at least.
Speaking of Montreal, Mike Matheson's back. He's been out for a while.
Yeah,
and then
that's
threw
right.
that
He
hit,
was, yeah.
And he threw that hit.
And then he got fined.
Yep.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Montreal had a rough week. Slavkowski,
Oh yeah.
he's out for 3 months with a lower body injury. He's done
He
for the
was
season.
not having a particularly good year.
Not having a
anyway.
good year,
So
but
that sucks for a rookie to get injured like that.
I mean, you can look at a lot of comparables, like
Yeah.
of star players who had a bad rookie year and then broke
Oh
out.
sure.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm not
like,
saying he's a bust or anything like that. He's
No.
just like maybe he should have gone back to the minors or
way
something.
too early. Cole
Yeah.
Caulfield is done for the season. He had surgery on his shoulder.
Oof.
So losing Slavkowski and Caulfield in the same week.
Yeah, that sucks.
Caulfield has apparently been playing injured most of the season.
Cool. Good.
So he finally decided to get that shoulder.
That's fair.
Shoulder
It's not like
repaired.
Montreal's not going to make the playoffs, so
No.
go get your shoulder repaired. Yeah.
So he should be back for training camp next year.
Good. Well, I mean, not great, not good, but
Jake Evans is on the IR with the lower body.
awesome.
Don't fully have a timetable for his return, and Druin and Armia are both out with a upper body injury. They're at least sidelined until the All-Star break. And I believe those injuries came after the Winnipeg game.
Not a good week for Montreal
Bad
health-wise.
week
Yeah.
for Montreal health-wise. Another bad week. So Josh Norris came back.
Yeah, he came back against Penguins.
Yep, played 2 games. He's got 2 goals.
Yeah.
In this week, he is out for the season with getting surgery on that shoulder.
Great.
Yep.
Good thing he came back.
He tried to rehab it without surgery.
Yeah.
He injured himself halfway through. Which Penguins game did he come back?
The first one, I believe.
I think he re-injured himself either in the first or second game. He tried to play, but he might have injured himself in. Yeah. Either way, he tried to play.
Well,
Can't do it. Needs surgery. Should be back again, like Caulfield, for the training camp. Also for Ottawa, they kind of set a price for the selling of the team.
Yep.
$800 million to $1 billion is what they're looking
I
for.
think that's pretty fair. The Penguins, I believe, sold for 900 something million last year or whatever. I feel like Ottawa is fairly comparable to Pittsburgh.
I would say, and you get
Team-wise.
this new stadium deal
Yeah,
downtown.
yeah.
That might be like
So yeah,
you might
that,
get a little bit
that
more.
sounds about right.
Tampa Bay, Perpix is day to day with an upper body, and then
No.
Maroon is also day to day with an undisclosed injury.
Not my boy Publix.
Publix, he might only be out like 1 or 2 games this
And he
week.
just got that deal.
Yeah.
That deal with Publix.
And then finally with Toronto, Tim Lindgren, day to day with an upper body. TJ Brody is also day to day with an upper body. He's going to be out. Expected like half of this week, upcoming week. And then finally, Nick Robertson is out for the season.
Bummer.
We knew because of his shoulder, but he finally had the shoulder surgery.
His brother Jason took him out.
Was it against Jason? No.
I don't think so.
Ooh, fun fact.
Okay.
Fun little fact. In the Pittsburgh game, is it Stewart? I don't know. Whatever.
All facts are fun.
The Joseph brothers.
Oh, this was in The second one.
It was
Yeah.
supposed to be in the first one, but
They healthy scratched Matthew Joseph.
Ottawa healthy scratched Matthew Joseph for non-hockey related reasons.
He must have missed a meeting or
Must
something.
have.
Yeah.
So the
second game was the first time the Joseph brother.
But the Joseph brother families had bought tickets for family and friends in Ottawa, and then he gets healthy scratched.
So lame. Well, at least I got to see their son that's on the Penguins.
Just the parents got to go to the Penguins game.
Yeah. It was adorable. One was wearing an Ottawa jersey. The other one was wearing a Penguins
And it
jersey.
was great when they gave each other matching high stick penalties.
It was so funny. I think it was the first time that's ever happened where both brothers got matching penalties on the same play.
Yep. And
It's really funny.
the parents are just shrugging while
They're
the
just
both
like, "What
guys
happened?"
going into the box.
Yeah. No, that's Matthew Joseph on Ottawa and P.O. Joseph, which stands for Pierre Olivier Joseph
Gotcha.
on the Penguins. That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, both those players, young black players.
Yeah.
It's always nice to see.
It really is nice to see.
I wish there were more players of color in the NHL.
There's a good amount.
There's
now.
starting to be more. I think it's just good for the game to have. It's good for every sport to have diversity. So.
Yes.
Because otherwise, real white sport hockey.
It's like baseball before Jackie Robinson, which
right.
wasn't that good.
And then all of a sudden, wow, there's a lot more better players. I'm like, what? There's a bunch of guys in Latin America who really like baseball? Oh, no.
Wait, Satchel Paige is allowed to pitch against us? Oh
No. Wait, Roberto Clemente is on the Pirate. Oh, no. Who's this guy? Albert Pujols. Oh, God. All right, let's talk about the Metro. That was it, yes?
Yes, that is it. I'm done.
Let's talk about the Metropolitan Division, starting with the Carolina Hurricanes, who only had 2 games this week. But they were
Wow.
2-0. Yeah, there's actually 2 teams in the Metro that only played 2 games this week.
What?
I know. They were 2-0, 5-2 win against Minnesota, where Svechnikov had 2 assists. Nachos and Chatfield and Brady Shea
What?
all had a goal and an assist
What?
each. Excuse me. And then they beat the Islanders 5-2, where Aho had a hat trick, Stahl had a goal and an assist, and Tara Vinen had 2 assists. Aho is their top player with 3 goals on the week in that one game. They only played 2. So
Sebastian Aho absolutely abused Sebastian Aho in that game.
It's so funny that there's 2 guys with the exact same name from 2 different countries.
He banked
in the NHL.
his first goal. He banked a shot off of Sebastian Aho.
Oh my God, he scored on himself.
And then the other one, he intercepted a not that good pass by defender to
Sebastian
score.
Aho.
Yeah, he abused.
So funny. The one that is on the Islanders is a defenseman who is not as good as the forward that is on Carolina.
He's also not as good as the dude who he is replacing due to injury.
Pulick?
Yeah.
Or Pellick?
Pellick.
One of the 2 of them?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just always funny when those 2 teams play each other.
It really is.
Sebastian Aho steals the puck from Sebastian Aho.
And scores.
Let's move on to Columbus, who was 1-3 this week.
It's good for Columbus. They won.
Yeah, they won a game. They
Yeah,
won a game.
It's great for them.
Losing to the Rangers 3-1, losing to Nashville 2-1, losing to Anaheim hilariously 5-3.
Mm-hmm.
And then hey, they beat the Sharks 5-3 to finish off the week, where Goudreau and Nyquist and Laine each had a goal and an assist, and Johnson and Blackenberg each had 2 assists. They don't have a top player.
No.
Because they, outside of the 4th game, they scored 5 goals this week.
Mm-hmm.
All right, New Jersey. Oh, I didn't write their record down. They were 2-0-1 this week. All of their games went to overtime or a shootout.
That's not really sustainable.
No. First game of the week, they took San Jose to a shootout, winning 4-3. Jesper Bratt had 2 assists. Nico Hischier a goal and an assist. And that's it. And then they lost to Seattle in overtime, 4-3, where they were outshot 40-30. So it's pretty much same shots as score, just by a factor of 10.
Crazy.
Interesting. Isn't it?
Nerd.
They then beat Pittsburgh in overtime 2-1, where Jack Hughes had a goal and an assist. Dougie Hamilton had the overtime game winner and an assist. Heeshear and Hughes are their top players this week with 2 goals and 2 assists. The Islanders did not do nearly as well.
No, they
going
didn't.
2-2 this week.
At least they got 2 loser points.
That's true. They lost to Washington 4-3 in overtime, where they blew a 3-0 lead to Washington. They then, just got smushed by Boston 4-1. Lost to Buffalo 3-2 in overtime, where they were outshot 45-26, which did you mention before?
I did. Yeah.
And Sorokin, hey, you got to give it to him. He went 42 for 45. He tried his best.
He's trying.
And then they lost to Carolina 5-2.
Nope.
They don't have a top player,
Oh.
as I'm sure you guessed. Moving on to their in-city rivals, the New York Rangers. They're in the same city technically, but like if you guys know anything about New York, they're essentially not in the same city. Yeah, New York.
They're in a different county.
New York is essentially 5 cities. That are just kind of smushed together.
And they're not even in one of the 5 cities.
No, they're on Long Island.
Yeah. They're out of Queens.
Yeah. So anyway, the Rangers went 1-1 this week. They beat Columbus, as I just mentioned, where Barclay Goodrow had a goal and an assist, and Capocacco had 2 assists. And then they lost to Boston 3-1.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
They don't have a top player either. They only played 2 games.
No.
Yeah. Moving on to Philadelphia, who played a whopping 5 games this week.
It's crazy.
I honestly kind of feel bad for them.
I do too.
Because they only had 2 days off this week.
Jesus.
That sucks. Losing to Boston 6-0 in the first game.
Yeah, that's fine. It's no shame.
Philadelphia was 0 for 6 on the power play. A power play goal might have helped there a little bit.
Yeah.
They did beat Anaheim. 5-2 was the score of that game, where they outshot Anaheim 39-27. Kevin Hayes had a hat trick in this game. Good for him. While Ristolainen, Konechny, Lotinen, and Allison each had 2 points. They then lost to Chicago 4-1, beat Detroit 2-1, where Carter Hart was 30 for 31, and then lost to Winnipeg to round out the week 5-3, where they were 2 for 4 on the power play. Kevin Hayes had 2 goals, Tony DeAngelo 2 assists, and Kevin Hayes is their top player with 5 goals and an assist.
I saw some headline somewhere. It's just like, what's wrong with Philly's Carter Hart? And it's just like, I didn't even bother looking at it.
That's just clickbait.
Yeah, I didn't even look at
Carter
it.
Hart is
Not
definitely not the issue. Definitely not the issue in Philly. The fact that the only person that seems like he can score is Kevin Hayes, and then everyone else is just kind of there.
Right.
Sometimes scores. A couple of their younger guys are playing okay, but like no one is playing that consistent. Konechny's okay.
Yeah.
But like if I was Philly, I would trade Konechny for like a lot of stuff, because you could definitely get a lot of stuff from him, because I think he's only 25. Which is crazy.
I feel like I've been hearing about him for forever.
I know. I think he's only 25. So, and he's under contract, I believe, for at least 1 or 2 more seasons. You can get a boatload for Travis Konechny.
Well,
I would love him to be on the Penguins.
Well, think about like Rasmus Dahlin is only 22.
I know.
He's been around for forever at this point.
Hey, maybe they can swap Rasmus Ristolainen for a first round pick. I'm just kidding. They're the only team that was dumb enough to do that trade. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to Pittsburgh, who went 2-0-2 this week. Actually had the best record points-wise in the division, because they had 6 points this week.
Good for them.
And yes, Carolina went 2-0, but they only played 2 games. So,
exactly.
They beat Anaheim 4-3 in overtime, where they outshot Anaheim 45-29. Pittsburgh tied this game very late. I think it was Brian Rust tied the game with like 3 minutes left.
I know.
Shut up. Don't shake your head at me.
I know. First of all, I misread this for most of the week, thinking that Pittsburgh lost in overtime. I was very disappointed.
Well, they did lose 2 games in overtime this week. Just not Anaheim.
Right, I know, but looking at the Anaheim one, I thought Pittsburgh had lost in overtime, and was very disappointed to...
Suck it.
Yeah, right.
Rickard Rakell had 3 assists against his former team, while Malkin and Zucker each had a goal and an assist, And Jake Gensel also had a goal and an assist, and that one goal was the overtime game winner.
Let's also talk about shots because they outshot Anaheim 45-29.
I said that already.
Oh, shit.
All right, but let's talk about a game. Clay already mentioned the Pittsburgh lost to Ottawa in overtime 5-4, where Pittsburgh was outshot 40-19 in this game.
19.
I can't believe they scored 4 goals,
right?
Honestly. Malkin had a goal and 2 assists. Crosby 3 assists. Pettersson 2 assists in this game for Pittsburgh, but still lost in overtime. They then bounced back, beat Ottawa 4-1. Ryan Russ 2 assists. Jake Gensel 2 goals and an assist. And Tristan Jarry making his return 44 for 45. Jeff Petrie also returned.
He was very needed.
Yeah, and it's really stunning how much the defense looks better just with Jeff Petrie back.
Right? It's incredible.
It's like, I saw somebody on the Pittsburgh subreddit was just like, I was wrong. I really hope that Jeff Petrie, Ryan Poehling, and Josh Archibald return soon.
Yeah.
Because they apparently were the entire defense. And 2 of those guys don't even play defense.
Right.
Or not even defensemen. Then Pittsburgh finished off the week by losing to New Jersey 2-1 in overtime, as I already mentioned. Something kind of funny happened in that overtime. The overtime game winner for New Jersey was on the power play, and it was because totally justified penalty.
Oh, yeah.
Marcus Pettersson jumped off the bench. It was a change, but who he was changing for was like 15 feet away from the bench, and he scored on 2-on-1, and everybody was like, yay, they won, and then they were like, no.
And he had a gall to,
and I was like,
argue
what?
in the box.
I was like, what happened? And I saw them arguing, and then I saw the replay. I was like, that was bad. So no shade there. It was just kind of funny that he turned around and was like, what? And I was like, dude, he wasn't even close to the bench. Usually they'll give you like 1 or 2 feet and be like, that's fine.
There's a controversy.
I think the rule is like, as long as they're like a foot away from the bench, you can switch out. But
I think there was a controversy about, I can't remember if it was, I know it was the Kings getting scored on, and it was called back. I think it was Toronto or something like that. And from the original view, it looked like, what do you mean? Why is this too many men on the ice? But then they had a different angle. And it's like, this is not even close. Yeah.
That's why. Okay, that makes more sense now. Yeah, no, totally justified penalty. It made me mad on the replay. I was like, come on, man. Come on. Anyway, Jake Gensel and Sidney Crosby, surprisingly, are their 2 top players of the week.
Surprisingly, yeah.
It's weird. It's like they're on the same line.
Right.
Gensel, 3 goals and 3 assists, while Crosby had a goal and 5 assists this week. And finishing off the Metropolitan with the Washington Capitals, who went 2-2 this week.
Yes.
Beating the Islanders 4-3 in overtime, where I already mentioned they came back from 3-0 down. TJ Oshie had a goal and an assist, and so did Dmitry Orlov, and his goal was the overtime game winner. Washington then lost to Minnesota 4-2, where Ovechkin had 2 assists. What's Fehervari's first name?
God.
Martin?
Yes.
Martin Fehervari?
Yeah, Martin Fehervari.
Goal and an assist in that game.
Yep.
Washington then shut out Arizona 4-0, where Strome had 2 goals, Wilson a goal and an assist, and Kuznetsov and Orlov each had 2 assists. Was Ovi out for that game, or was he out for the Vegas game?
He was out for Vegas.
Okay, the Vegas game, Ovechkin is day-to-day. He missed the Vegas game injury. Vegas game with an injury. And Vegas, went ahead and stopped Washington 6-2. That's about it to say about that game. Yep. They just kind of got smushed in that game.
Yeah, they didn't look like they were in it.
No.
I didn't watch that game or the highlights, so I don't actually know.
It wasn't good. It wasn't good. Strome and Orlov are their top 2 players of the week. Strome, 3 goals and an assist. Orlov, the inverse, a goal and 3 assists.
I'm a big fan of Dylan Strome.
He's playing pretty well for you guys. He's playing pretty well for Washington. I think that was a good, solid pickup for Washington.
Didn't Dylan Strome and Sonny Milano have really impressed?
Yeah. Looking pretty good. That's it for the Metro, and I already talked about my 2 pieces of news. So now it's the Clay Show.
All right.
With me interrupting a lot.
All right, we're gonna talk about Anaheim first because alphabetical.
I know someone that's going to be very happy that it's an alphabetical order.
You?
No.
Oh.
Someone else who complained to me about it.
Huh. 1 and 2 this week.
Hey,
one.
they won a game.
1, 2, and 1. You talked about the Pittsburgh game.
Yes.
The overtime loss.
They almost won that game in regulation.
They did.
Yeah.
Trevor Zegras had a goal and an assist in that game. Then they went on to Philadelphia and lost 2-5. Not good.
Can't wait for Connor Bedard to be on the Ducks.
Shorthanded goal.
I think I said this before. If I had to pick a team that gets this generational talent, it'd be the Ducks. Just because I think they'd be really fun to watch. Because there would be no defense played.
Well, eventually they would work on their defense.
Eventually.
You'd hope.
Not the first couple of years.
Nope.
They'd score like 6 points a game, or 6 goals a game, and give up 7 goals a game.
Kind of like right now.
Yeah. Well, they don't score that many. They just give up that many.
They have swings.
Yeah, that's true.
So then they go to Columbus and beat them 5-3. Gibson was in net for 2 periods. Stolarz started. I don't really know what happened.
Maybe Stolarz got injured.
Maybe he was there for the first period, let in the 3 goals in the first period.
Something, or maybe they pulled him. Who knows?
It seems like they did. Zegras had a goal and assist in that game, and then they finished by losing to Buffalo at Buffalo. 1 for 2 on that penalty kill. Zegras had 2 goals and an assist. Did you get a trend in the player that I was talking about for their top player? It is Trevor Zegras.
Adam Henrique. Oh, okay.
Well, that's hilarious because I do have to talk about Adam Henrique.
Oh.
Because Trevor Zegras was 2 goals, 2 assists. He's their top player. Adam Henrique had 3 goals and 2 assists. I math wrong. Or just wrote down wrong.
Okay. Me math bad.
Yeah, no. Zegras was 3 and 3.
Okay.
I don't know what I'm going. I don't know why I said 2 and 2. Trevor Zegras had 3 goals, 3 assists.
And welcome back to this week's episode of Clay Tries to Do Math.
Clay tries to read his own handwriting.
Well, yeah, that's an every week problem.
But Adam Henrique had 5 points. He had 3 goals and 2 assists. And middle of this week, I saw a tweet that I really could not ignore.
Oh, I can't wait.
So this was on the...
Because you don't usually bring up tweets.
This was on the PDO cast. Before this...
another bullshit podcast.
Before this week...
This is the only hockey podcast that matters.
The only hockey podcast out there. The Ducks, in the 560 minutes, 560 5-on-5 minutes with Adam Henrique on the ice, they are actually up points-wise with 26 to 24.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
They
have positive goal differential.
Yes.
Yeah.
Positive goal differential, 26 to 24, so that's a +2.
Interesting.
In the 1580 minutes with him off the ice.
What was it, like -40? Am I close? Really?
They are down 102 to 40.
Oh my god.
It's -60.
Wow. That's really bad.
Yeah.
Adam Henrique, the linchpin of the Ducks, apparently.
And he is their first line winger.
Well, he can play center, too.
He can play. He can be, but he's kind of on their left wing right now.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no.
That's really crazy.
There's a heat map. And I know, again,
Adam Henrique's so hot right now.
This is an audio.
You know they're gonna get calls about him at the trade deadline.
This is an audio medium right now, but I want to show you the heat map.
Okay.
Especially look at 5-on-5 defense without him on the ice.
Oh my god. Oh Jesus.
It's just red around your own goalie. That's where
it's like blood red.
That's where Gibson's getting murdered in net.
Good God.
Yeah. So I saw that tweet and it's just like, all right, I got to talk about.
It's like you look at a weather map and you're like,
exactly.
Like that's purple. That's not good.
That's so red that's where the tornadoes are coming from on a weather map. That's how red this is. And
Yikes.
for offense, it's ice storm blue on
Yep.
their side of the ice.
Yep.
It's absolutely crazy.
It is really fun. That's really funny. I
Yeah.
wouldn't have guessed it was Adam Henrique.
Right.
It was like
I wouldn't either.
maybe metrically the best player on the Ducks.
Yeah. All right. Now that I got that out of the way, we're going to go to Calgary.
Calgary.
1-2 this week.
Ooh.
They are 22, 16, and 3. Nope. 9.
I was gonna say that doesn't even look like a 3.
I was already looking at the 50.
Crazy man.
I was already looking at the 53 points.
This man can't even read his own handwriting.
5th in the division. Right now, there is a 3-point difference between 1st and 4th.
Oh wow.
With
Vegas is falling back a little bit.
Vegas
there.
is falling
Yeah.
back, but I'll get to them later. They lost to Nashville in the game that Bert talked about.
Mm-hmm.
We've actually talked about all these games. Losing
Oh.
to Nashville, losing to Colorado, and then beating Tampa Bay. Vasilevsky versus Vladar, the V goalies.
The V's.
In the Tampa Bay game, Rasmus Anderson had a goal and 2 assists. He's their top player with a goal and 3 assists because I just had to give it to somebody.
Somebody had to get it.
I mean,
Or not.
He scored 4 points in 3 games. Fine,
Yeah, that's
you
fair.
get it.
Yeah.
Well, I did mention they outshot Tampa Bay in that win. They lost face-offs again. They won 22 face-offs, but Tampa Bay won 40. 22 out of 62 face-offs.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
It's weird.
It's
weird that they outshot them by like a good bit, right?
like 41 to 24.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then but lost face-offs and that almost the same
Exactly.
number. Yeah.
Like
it's odd.
Blew
Yeah,
my
it
mind.
is odd.
We're gonna move on to Edmonton, who is 3-0 this week. They are on a tear.
Damn Edmonton.
They're 6-0 these past 2 weeks.
Nice.
27, 18, and 3. They are 57 points. They are third in the division. Beating Seattle to start the week, then Tampa Bay, and then they went to Vancouver at the end of the week to beat them.
Nice.
In the Seattle game, Zach Hyman, 1 goal and 2 assists. In the Tampa Bay game, Zach Hyman, 2 goals. And in the Vancouver game, Zach Hyman, 1 goal and 3 assists. So he's their top player
Shocking.
with 4 goals and 5 assists.
Shockingly. Zach Hyman is their top player.
Yes. It's kind of all I got. They're chugging along.
Just nonchalant 3-0.
They're making ground. They're
right.
dragging themselves back
I can't wait till I get to Vancouver.
into the hunt.
Hurry up.
Los Angeles, because 1-2 this week. Phoenix Copley did not have a good week to start the week.
Yeah.
Shutout loss to Dallas, then losing 3-5, and then beating Chicago. So Copley
Let's say beat a team they should beat.
Exactly.
Chicago, yeah.
Copley was 13 for 17 to start that against Dallas, and then he was 1 for 3 against Nashville, and then Quick had to come in. Quick was 22 for 25, so it wasn't much better.
Not much better, no.
Quick was perfect against Dallas, but still, yeah. In the Chicago win, Anderson Dolan, it's his last name,
Oh, yeah.
both goals.
Oh, good for him.
They don't get a top player.
Okay.
They are 26, 17, and 6 for 58 points in third. So 1 point ahead of Edmonton.
So Edmonton is in fourth. I think you said Edmonton was in third.
Edmonton is in fourth.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. That's close, though.
yes.
That's close.
San Jose is up next, 1-2-1 for the week.
Nice. Good.
They are solidly in 7th place. I can tell you that right now. They have 37 points. They are 14, 25, and 9.
It's really bad.
Losing in a shootout to New Jersey, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
Beating Dallas, like you also said.
Yep.
Columbus lost to them 3-5,
Yes, they did.
and then they got shut out by Boston.
That's about it.
Timo Meyer had a goal and assist in the New Jersey loss, and then Ekblad had a goal and 3 assists in the Dallas win.
Who?
I said Ekblad.
Yeah.
I,
Do you mean
Eric
Carlson?
Carlson.
Okay.
Yeah. I just wrote EK65.
Okay, gotcha.
My
Still
bad.
not Ekblad.
No, it's still not Ekblad. Timo Meyer got in a fight against
Whoa, that's
Boston.
weird for him.
I think it's his 3rd career fight.
Oh, that's more than I thought.
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot who he fought. But
Weirdly, Jake DeBrusque with his broken leg came out to fight him.
Carlson is their top player. He had 2 goals and 4 assists. So again,
I keep hearing teams be like, maybe we'll trade for him. Like,
you got to be desperate.
Okay, good luck.
It's not going to happen. There's no cap.
I mean, I don't think that he wouldn't be. I don't think he wouldn't be beneficial to a team. I think he would. I think getting him wouldn't be the problem. I think it's the price that you would pay, both in assets that you have to trade for him and salary cap space.
His salary cap for the next 5 years.
Yeah, and if what the proposed price is to be believed, I don't know that that's worth it.
Right.
You know,
3 first rounds and only 18%. Get out of here. Get out of here. I know you're a new team.
Maybe if it was 3 first rounders and we retained 50%, maybe.
I know this is your first time being a GM. Get out of here.
But again, that's a starting ask, right? You can be negotiated down.
I mean,
that's a high.
You have to start with something unreasonable.
That is a high.
So you get to
price.
something reasonable.
Hey, and maybe somebody will make a mistake and do it. Look at the
Florida.
Look at the Cleveland Browns in the NFL and what they traded all of their first-round draft picks for.
Did great
To not make the playoffs.
Seattle. Looks like they might make the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
1, 2, and 1 this week, but they are 27, 14, and 5. They got 59 points. They're in second, but they have 4 games in hand on Vegas.
Hell yeah.
So they could easily surpass Vegas.
You know, if they made the playoffs, every Seattle team would have made the playoffs this past season.
They can make the playoffs. They're not allowed to win.
Why?
It's 2 years in existence. You need some pain first.
Yeah, first round loss.
Vancouver,
getting swept or something.
Vancouver and Buffalo have not won a Stanley Cup yet in 40 years of existence.
Here's the thing. I don't know that I'm going to cheer for Vancouver.
You shouldn't. And also, they're not going to win a Stanley Cup anytime soon.
No.
They lost to Tampa to start the week. Then they lost to Edmonton. Then they lost to beat New Jersey in overtime, and then lost to Colorado in that shootout.
Yeah.
Bert mentioned everything. Grubauer in the Colorado game, 26 for 27. Vince Dunn had the only goal in the Tampa Bay loss, and then Ryan Donato had 2 goals and assists in the overtime win. They don't get a top player.
That's fair.
Penalty kill was perfect. That's the first time in a while.
Hey,
first time in a while.
There you go. Whose penalty kill wasn't perfect? Was it Vancouver?
You're goddamn right.
Hell yeah.
0-3 this week.
Good.
Which tracks. They're 18, 25, and 3. They are 39 points for 6th in the division.
All right.
Losing to Tampa. Again, Stamkos needed his 500th goal. Play Tampa.
Got it against Vancouver.
Yeah. Play Vancouver. They lost to Colorado, and then they lost to Edmonton. In the Tampa Bay game, Kuzmenko had one of the goals. Pedersen had a goal in the Colorado game, and Hughes had 2 assists in the Edmonton loss. Their penalty kill was 3 for 6. They don't get a top player. We're going to keep going because I have so much to talk about.
Yeah, we have plenty of
Vegas,
stuff to say about
1
Vancouver.
and 3 this week.
Ooh, not a good week for
Their only
Vegas.
good game was against Washington. That's it.
To finish off the week?
No.
Oh.
Because then they lost to Arizona afterwards.
Oh, right.
They are 29, 17, and 2. Ever since that 13-2 start, they've been around 500. It's
Starting to catch up with
kind
them.
of the same as last year with injuries
Mm-hmm.
here and there. Stone being week to week. It's not good enough.
No.
Um,
Maybe they'll trade for Eric Carlson. That seems like a really Vegas thing to do.
Stupid thing to do. Getting shut out by Dallas. Losing to Detroit. Again, all things that Bird has talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Cotter had 2 goals in their win against Washington.
Welcome back.
What was...
Your dreams were your ticket out.
We mentioned Bruce Cassidy earlier.
Mm-hmm.
He publicly called out Eichel
He
after
did.
the
Yeah, he
Detroit
did.
game for not doing enough.
Fair? I don't know. I
Eichel
don't know that you just do that in the press. That seems
Eichel
like
also doesn't seem like the guy you do that in the press about,
no.
especially like all of his history with Buffalo.
Yeah.
But also, yes, Eichel is in like a 5 to 6 game skid right now. He's gotten like 2 assists in the past 6 games.
Yeah.
But before that injury he sustained, he had like 24 points in 22 games. So like he's
okay.
he's coming off an injury. He's
Got to give him some time.
we'll again
Right, Bruce?
I want to talk about some news. We might talk
Okay.
about that in the news.
Okay.
And then they lost to Arizona 1-4.
Mm-hmm. They certainly did.
Yeah. Their power play wasn't very good. Their penalty kill wasn't very good either. They don't actually get a top player.
Bad week for Vegas.
News.
News.
Edmonton. Matthias Janmark, he's out this game coming up with an illness.
Oh.
So he should be back soon.
Okay.
Feel
better.
Yeah. Edmonton's the first one. So I skip, like, no one else has anything coming up.
Oh, well.
And then
That's good, I guess.
And then the Kings, Gabe Velarde is out with an undisclosed injury. Don't know how necessarily long. And then Carl Grundstrom is on the IR with an undisclosed injury to at least the All-Star game. They're just rolling him out until the All-Star break.
I mean, that's fine. That's coming up, I think, in a couple of weeks.
For
Actually,
San
not
Jose,
100%
Matt
sure.
Benning is day-to-day with an undisclosed injury. He missed the Boston game. We don't know how many games he's going to miss going forward. Seattle, for Burkowski, Schwartz, and Schultz are all day-to-day with undisclosed injuries. They missed the game against Colorado. They all missed that game against Colorado. Could use Burkowski, Schultz, and Schwartz.
Definitely.
For Vancouver, it's kind of been leaked that their new flying skate jerseys are going to be their jerseys next year. It seems like the Orca's out.
Boo.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm not cheering for Vancouver
Oh,
anymore.
you expected more. Okay, sorry. All right,
Dude,
my bad.
hold on.
All right.
Hold on. Time out. Is there anything for Vegas? Because I feel like we're going to talk about Vancouver for.
There's nothing for Vegas.
Okay, great.
I mentioned the only thing for Vegas.
Okay.
I got Cassidy and Eichel's thing out of the way.
Buckle up, guys.
All right, next. All right, you're
Buckle
right.
up,
You're
gang.
right. You wanted more. I got you more. Tanner Pearson's hand. I mentioned that last week, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
What I didn't actually look into, and this is on me, based on Quinn Hughes's discussions about
The mishandling of said
the
injury.
mishandling of this, the Players Association is looking into it, and also Vancouver is looking into it.
Yeah, well, we're going to investigate ourselves.
And this is again the week that the Stone injury was happening. So if I talked about it last week, Rutherford is talking with Bruce and Alvin, and then looking and
The coach, Bruce Boudreau. He's the coach.
investigating. Also, but they were investigating themselves,
He said, but.
which is great because they just found out the other day that they did no wrongdoing.
Weird.
Right?
Yeah,
I
weird how
know.
that turned out. Yeah.
There's no wrongdoing.
Thank God they investigated themselves.
Tanner Pearson might be. This hand injury might be career threatening.
Yeah, I heard that.
He might be out next year. He might not ever play again. And he's had
His hand must be really
this might be his
up.
third procedure on that hand. So the Players Association is
God.
still looking at it.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, just to roll it back really quick, I did see somebody roll it back to Montreal really quick. I did see somebody mention that they thought maybe Montreal mishandled Caulfield's injury,
because
the shoulder injury.
because that injury could have happened. I've seen things saying that shoulder injury happened last year.
Yeah. So maybe they were like, no, try to rehab it. And he's like, I can't move my arm.
Right.
So there seems to be not a lot of that with the NHL, but like too much, where they're like,
You didn't see his story that dropped today.
what story?
A Rick Westgate story.
Oh God, what?
Um,
No, I did not see that.
well,
That's
so
the guy that
that broke
the Kyle Beach stuff last year, right?
Brad Aldrich. Let's go with the douchebag who did the abusing and let Kyle Beach be his own person.
Oh, well, I know, but
Yeah.
it was central around
Yes.
Kyle Beach.
Yes.
Kyle Beach was the victim.
Brad Aldrich was the douchebag.
You know, it was the entire Chicago Blackhawks organization that was the douchebag.
The abuser. My fault.
He was the abuser, yeah.
So this is 2 years after the Tormadol and painkillers article.
Yeah.
There's apparently
Which is something they use in like every sport, as far as I know.
yes, and it's basically a painkillers problem in the NHL. A story about that.
That does not surprise me.
So it's been 2 years since then, and one of his sources told him there is a team that has 6 players currently getting weekly Tormadol injections.
Oh God, did they say what team?
They did not say what team, but that could be whatever. Part of
I
what
want to know what team.
it could be Vegas.
Oh, it could be Vegas. Yeah.
Vegas is playing like a bunch of guys on painkillers,
Yeah, that's true.
especially this past week.
And they're in Las Vegas.
Yeah. It could be Washington. It could think of the teams with
a
huge
lot of
injury
injuries.
problems.
Yeah.
And this is part of
You know what? Also, it could be Boston. Let's just throw it out there.
This is one of those things where the coaches and trainers, they have to protect the players from themselves because the players want to play.
Of course.
They are willing
And
to
at a certain point, they maybe just want painkillers too.
that too.
They're addictive.
Think about 2011.
I'm terrified if I ever get like a significant enough injury to be given painkillers.
Was it 2011 where they had those 3? The NHL had the 3 deaths, the 2 suicides and an overdose. Was that Rippin? And I can't think of the other 2 guys' names.
Oh, who was one guy? It was
Minnesota and I think the Flyers.
No, there was a New Jersey guy, Bryce Salvador.
Maybe he's not the guy that I'm thinking of.
I know what you're talking about though. Yeah.
But one was an overdose on painkillers, and the other 2 guys were your hard-nosed power forwards or your fighters.
Hard-nosed defensemen.
Yeah. So NHL has had a problem.
Sure.
With
yeah.
painkillers.
Well, there's also a pretty documented problem with cocaine in the NHL too.
Yep, and also NHL's not cocaine. You just said that word. Concussion protocol
that as well
is behind even the NFL's,
which is saying a lot.
They don't admit that head hit
because the NFL kind of just let Tua Tagovailoa go out on the field, and I don't know. He might just not be okay.
Well, the NHL doesn't say that hard head hits to the head cause concussions or CTE.
No, of course they don't.
So
no, there's no documented evidence.
But they're trying to get fighting out because that's what
does it.
Yeah,
that's what does it.
So yeah, that was the Rick.
I did not see
Westgate.
that. I'll have to look at that.
That
after the
was
podcast.
like an hour before I came over.
I want to know what team it is. I'm so nosy.
I wouldn't be surprised if Vegas, based on the way they're playing and the injury issues that they have.
It could be Pittsburgh too.
Could be
how many injuries happen in that team.
Washington, Colorado.
I hope it's not, but I hope it's a team that I hate.
Colorado, Columbus, Philadelphia. Those are all teams. Montreal, teams battling injuries right now.
Boston.
I
want it to be a team that you wouldn't expect. It's
Arizona.
It's Arizona.
Anaheim.
They're handing Toradol out to the college kids that are coming to the game.
If those players, of course, they want to play because one, if they don't want to put a target on their back by playing
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
showing an injury because other players will go for that injury.
Yep.
It's a shitty thing that happens, but it happens.
But it's you have to think of it as sort of way. Yes, it's a shitty thing that happens. That if you're like, oh, that guy he sprained his ankle last game, I'm gonna like
take a whack at it. Yeah,
his ankle. Like, yeah, that's shitty. It's also like kind of strategical.
It's
like,
it is. But
I mean, it sucks, but like it kind of makes sense.
But you're trying to win.
Yeah,
you're trying. These are some of the most competitive guys on earth.
Yeah,
they're not necessarily good people.
No,
when they're on the ice.
No, or off the ice, depending on who we're talking about.
And then also you never know which game is your last game, and also getting the an injury prone designation affects your bottom line.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, see Max Pacioretty.
Look at
this week.
Nick Robertson in the future.
He's at least a younger player,
right? But someone might not be willing to give him as much money because
they might knock off $1 million or $2 million from a contract. Be like,
you're injured a lot,
a bunch of injuries.
So it's just one of those things where the NHL might still have that problem.
Yeah. Well, that's messed up. Let's talk about Vancouver more.
Oh yeah, Vancouver.
Were you done?
Do I have more? Bruce Boudreau's out as their head coach and Tockett's in. And Sergei Gonchar is behind the bench as an assistant.
Dude, fuck Jim Rutherford for that.
All right.
I feel
I'll
so
actually stop being
bad
fucking
for
coy.
Bruce Boudreau. They made him play for 2 weeks knowing that he was about to get fired.
I mentioned this last week. I mentioned he was getting emotional, and by saying he's just like, I'm just coming in every day until they don't. It could have been as long as a month of him knowing he's getting fired.
At least this past week, they knew that everyone knew that they were hiring Tocchet.
It's the worst.
Everyone
kept secret. Tocchet was all right. Tocchet has been on TNT.
Yeah.
And part of his contract, he had to give 4 weeks' notice.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yes. So it could be as long as a month where Boudreau knew.
Why keep him then? Why? Why keep this poor barbecue loving little meatball of a man? He's so nice.
He is
he's a nice little man.
They massacred my boy.
I know. He's never even coached my team, but I like him so much because he's a nice little guy.
One of the nicest coaches in hockey cry multiple times on national television.
Disgusting.
And the fans knew.
Disgusting.
The fans
Everyone
were
knew.
No,
Everyone
no, in the
knew.
sense of the fans
No, I know.
and the players were behind Bruce Boudreau this entire time. Bruce and the players both admit in the Colorado loss, because that was a Saturday, Sunday, Colorado, Edmonton back-to-back. They knew and will admit that the distraction of it got to them in the Colorado game.
I bet.
But they played their ass off against Edmonton for the coach. They weren't able to get it done because this team is just not that good.
Nope, they're not. It's not really Bruce Boudreau's fault necessarily.
Now, going back, Bruce Boudreau was hired before Rutherford was. He was an Aquilini hire.
That's true.
He got hired when Benning and Travis Green got fired.
Yep.
And they did Travis Green dirty too, that time leading up to it. But that was, again, that was Benning doing.
That was Benning, yeah.
Rutherford didn't like Boudreau from the start. And has said as much as far back as the offseason and definitely at the start of the season.
Yeah.
Starting at the week, there was a press conference yesterday where they announced that Bruce Boudreau is gone, Tocchet is in.
And everybody was like, we know.
And
assholes.
Alvin and Rutherford. Rutherford said everything was speculation. It was driven by the media. It was driven by the fans. That's
weird how everybody knew about it.
That's why they've made this decision, except for the fact that on Monday, Rutherford said that they were talking to coaches for a replacement.
Yeah.
And then Alvin said that they made this decision that day to change coaches.
No, you didn't, you fucking liar.
And that they made the decision on Sunday that coaches needed to change, which makes it a really good thing Tocchet was in town.
Yeah, weird.
And there for the press conference. And this is also the first time I've heard Alvin speak on behalf of Vancouver for the past 6 months.
Yeah, because technically he's the general manager.
He's the general manager. Rutherford's the president of hockey ops.
Rutherford's the real general manager.
He's running everything. So now the fact that Bruce Boudreau was not in Rutherford's plans is fine. The coaches get fired all the time.
Yeah.
Coaches that the fans like, that the players like,
Yeah.
get fired all the time.
Sure.
What was so abnormal is how public this is.
It's just like, so why not fire him like
It's-
a month ago?
You have Mike Yao?
Yeah, Mike Yo.
Mike
Yo,
Yo.
yeah,
Mike
yeah.
Yo. Mike Yo still didn't get axed in this purge.
Oh,
he's
weird.
He's still
He
the
could have just
assistant.
been the interim coach.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you want to keep him as like a dead man walking for as long as possible, fine. But as soon as that leaks, that he's a dead man walking,
you gotta let Boudreau go.
You gotta axe him because he is out there getting asked questions about what coaching in the NHL means to him, where he gets emotional.
If any
Boudreau
team,
went through this with the most grace
yeah,
possible.
Yeah.
He didn't show up to the Colorado morning skate, and then after the game was just like, fooled you, huh? He knows he was playing it. He was trying to take it as best on the chin. After the Edmonton game, every player came into his office individually to thank him for his time.
if I was one of those players, I'd go in his office and be like, "This is fucked up.
They probably
This
did.
is fucked up. What they're doing to
They
you."
probably did, but he's too good. Like, he just knows not to say that. Like,
Yeah. No, that would be. I would say it
Yeah.
to him. Like, I'm saying this to you. I don't care if you tell them I said this. I'll tell it to them.
I could use a new coach.
If any NHL teams have a modicum of decency that is not Vancouver, somebody will be like, "Hey, just come over here."
He already thought when he got fired from Minnesota that was his last.
I don't think so.
stint.
I don't even think this is going to be his last stint, really.
He's been an NHL head coach the last 18 years.
Yeah, I don't think he'll coach again this year.
No.
But there's plenty of
I
teams
think
that
there's
need a coach.
plenty of guys.
And he's had enough success in the places that he's been.
I feel bad for Tocchet because he's done nothing
Oh yeah,
wrong.
none of this
He's
is Tocchett's
done
fault. No, none of
nothing
this
wrong.
is Tocchett's fault.
And
I would like to make the pitch right now. Speaking on behalf of the Pittsburgh Penguins, Brucey, come on down, baby. Come on down.
But look,
Come on, stand next to Mike Sullivan on the bench. You can eat ribs. No one will care.
look at the team that they have. And then Benning has already made excuses on what moves he didn't make during the...
Benning?
Sorry.
Or Rutherford?
Rutherford already made excuses on what moves he did not make during the offseason about improving the team.
Yeah.
Because Boudreau came in after Green got fired. The team played great.
They did.
Moved up.
They did.
And also
they almost made the playoffs.
Also, what comes in with this firing is the easiest part of Vancouver's schedule.
Oh yeah, weird. Good.
They waited until Tampa Bay, Colorado, and Edmonton was done.
Weird.
And now their next game is, I believe, Chicago.
That doesn't mean they'll win it.
Doesn't mean, but normally you'll get a coach bump.
I don't know in this case. I don't know.
But again, who knows?
Ruth.
Tocchett's more of a defensive coach historically, so he might shore up some defense.
Ruthie, do you have opinions on this whole Bruce Boudreau situation?
It's all just stupid. Rutherford sucks.
Yeah, boy.
If you just want to hire your friends, say you want to hire your friends.
That's kind of what he's doing.
It's what
right?
he's doing.
Yeah,
Even with Alvin, with Tocchet, with
Alvin Tocchet, Sergei Gonchar. Yeah. And it's like, I don't know. It really paints the end of his time in Pittsburgh in a weird light too, because if you guys don't remember, Jim Rutherford kind of just resigned as the general manager of Pittsburgh at the beginning of last year.
I remember him talking
Was it
shit
last year or
about
the year
Brian
before?
Rust.
I don't, maybe, but so he just kind of resigned out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like no one was expecting it, and there was tons of speculation about why it happened. He was like, "Oh, I just want to spend time with my family," but then almost immediately started looking for jobs.
Yeah.
Which is like pretty suspect, and then some stories came out that were like, no one has ever confirmed it, but that he wanted to trade either Malkin or Letang from the Penguins.
Yeah.
And ownership nixed it. They were like, no, you're not doing that.
Well, don't
And-
both of them have no move clauses that?
Yeah.
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 Like,
So, like, they would have had to agree to do it. Definitely Malkin. I don't know about Letang at the time, but definitely Malkin had a no move clause. And ownership was like, no, you're not doing that because it'll just make the fans really mad. Whether it might be a good trade for the team or not, it'll piss the fans off.
Right.
So we're not going to do that. And he just threw a hissy fit and resigned.
like,
And it's just like, really?
does this show, like, this entire week, because this was alluded to last week, but this after last week, but this past week specifically has really, like, blown into proportion.
Yeah.
Does this look like stability?
No, not at all.
You're probably losing Horvat. You're probably losing Shed.
You're almost definitely losing Horvat. Shen is like kind of whatever, but
he's a veteran blue liner
Yeah,
for them that
yeah.
they desperately need. Shen is his contract was more of the NHL changing from big and bruising to fast.
to fast and skilled.
So
yeah.
That's why his contract.
Well,
doesn't
some
look as
teams are
good.
still trying to do
Yeah.
big and bruising.
But all right, Pedersen and Hughes, their contracts run out next year.
Yep.
All right.
Do they still want to be here? I mean, they're
Oh,
going to be RFAs, so you have control, but they can just refuse to sign,
Exactly.
and then you have to trade them for pennies on the dollar. Essentially,
Pedersen a couple of years ago has said, "Yeah, I like Vancouver, but I want to win." So you build around them. This team,
not
it
right
hasn't
now.
happened. Hasn't happened. So
And then there's the whole confusion of like signing JT Miller to that contract extension, which like it didn't look bad at the time.
It's
It was a
still-
little surprising though, because you're like, okay, but you could trade him for like quite a bit.
it still doesn't look too bad because you did sign him to get close to 100 points, and he's doing that.
Yeah, he's still playing fine.
The defensive effort isn't
Well, it was
there,
never there.
but it was never there. So
But like, yeah, I don't know. It just really makes Vancouver look terrible.
it looks.
It makes
so
Rutherford look
bad.
like a huge asshole.
The amount of players that put Vancouver as a no
It's
move.
gonna get higher now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vancouver is one of the few Canadian places that teams or players wanted to go to because
Yeah, because Vancouver's I mean, not that other Canadian cities are not nice cities, but Vancouver is a very nice
Yeah.
city in the Pacific Northwest, a kind of nice area of the North American continent.
right. So, but like looking at this,
I wouldn't want to go there.
also
I'd be like, don't you dare trade me there.
draft picks. The last time that they made the playoff, Vancouver made the playoffs was 2015.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. Yes, they made the playoffs in 2020 because that was
for the COVID.
it was the
thing.
play-in
Yeah,
year, but they won their play-in round, but then they got kicked out by Vegas after that. So,
Right.
whatever. In that time, in those 8 years, you're supposed to have like 24 picks.
Mm-hmm.
They've had 16 in that time. Like
Good.
you're not keeping capital,
You know what's pretty funny about Jim Rutherford? He likes wheeling and dealing draft picks.
which is
Not ideal
the
for
build.
right now for Vancouver.
He's talking about like a rebuild, but then he's talking about like minor surgery, but they might need major surgery. Like so what is it? Like what do you actually need?
Yeah. It just
They
puts
don't-
in perspective the last couple of years he was on the Penguins where you're just like, what are you doing?
Also Kuzmenko.
Yeah.
Kuzmenko is
It's kind of puzzling that he signed there at this point.
well, not necessarily. It's a 1 year.
Oh, that's
deal
true. That's true.
for under $1 million, and then he's a UFA. What if he just
Oh,
says
true.
no?
He's just like, bye.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm gonna go sign with one of the other teams in this country,
Yeah. So
or the other country, whatever.
so what if the Devils drafted Luke? What if Quinn wants to go play with his brothers?
It's fair. You know, I don't know.
It's not looking
It's
good
just
for
not
Vancouver.
looking good. It's looking like, where are you going?
I'm just standing up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Vancouver. I mean, I want to cheer for them. I do, but not now.
No.
Not after how they've treated that sweet barbecue boy.
Right.
So I hope somebody in the league is like, hey, just come be an assistant coach this year
For now.
with us.
Yeah, and then we'll see what
And
happens.
then we'll see what happens. Be assistant coach, and then if you get a head coaching spot next year,
You get a head
go ahead,
coaching spot, yeah.
But hey, you know what? Ultimately, joke's on fucking Vancouver because they still have to pay Bruce Boudreau, and guess what? They're also paying Travis Green still.
Tocchet is $2.5 million, Boudreau is $2 million, and then Travis Green is $2.5 million. So that's what they're on the
So
hook
really,
for.
mostly the joke is on you, Vancouver,
Yep.
and it makes you look bad, and everybody thinks it, including your own fans. Okay, well, we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for listening. As always, you can find us wherever podcasts are found. Give us a rate, review, subscribe wherever applicable. Tell your friends and families. We're talking about pucks out here.
Like us. We're cool.
Like us, please.
Please clap.
And we will see you next week. Please clap. For week 16 of the NHL season. But we'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Same puck time.
Oh, yeah. Same puck place.
Bye.
Bye.